Commander ZYX Theta's tentacles trembled as she compared the star chart to the ancient texts one more time. Her three subordinates huddled behind her in the archive chamber of the Galactic Historical Institute, their fear pheromones making the air thick. "It can't be real," whispered researcher Velnor, his crystalline form flickering with anxiety. "The Forbidden World is just a legend. A cautionary tale for hatchlings." But the coordinates matched. Every star, every nebula, every spatial anomaly aligned perfectly with the mythical texts that described Terragast, the death sphere of ancient nightmares. For 10,000 cycles, every spacefaring species knew the stories. A world so hostile that reality itself seemed to bend around it. Where water fell from the sky in planet-drowning torrents. Where the ground would split open and swallow entire continents. Where the very air could spawn rotating columns of destruction. Where life had evolved not despite these conditions but because of them, becoming so viciously adaptable that it threatened the cosmic order itself. The texts say the predecessors quarantined it, Junior Analyst Cree chittered nervously. Wiped it from all star charts. Forbade any approach under penalty of species-wide extinction. And yet, ZYX Theta's voice was barely a whisper. Here it is. In the unexplored sector the humans call home. The silence that followed was deafening. Navigator Dex was the first to speak, his 6 eyes wide with dawning horror. The humans. They claimed to come from a world called Earth. In that exact sector. But that would mean. They're the Terrorlings, Velnor finished, his form now pulsing in pure panic. The mythical spawn of Terragast. The ones the texts say would one day escape their prison world and he couldn't finish. ZYX Theta pulled up the human database they'd been granted after first contact. Smiling bipeds who seemed almost comically harmless. Who apologized constantly. Who brought gifts of chocolate and played something called music. Who seemed eager to be friends with everyone. "Look at their world statistics," she said, her voice hollow. "Average temperature variations of 150 degrees. Storms with winds of 400 kilometers per hour. Seismic activity that registers on instruments from neighboring systems. 7/10 of the surface covered in, dear void, it's all true." "The monster pit," Cree whispered. "The texts describe a substance that dissolves anything, filled with creatures that grow larger than starships. They call it ocean and swim in it for recreation." Velnor was cross-referencing frantically. "The burning rain of legend, they call it acid rain and it's a minor inconvenience. The frozen death that falls from their sky, they call it snow and their young play in it. The electric sky fire that the texts say could power 1,000 worlds, they call it lightning and complain when it interrupts their entertainment broadcasts. We need to warn the Council," Dex said urgently. "If Earth is really Terragast." "Warn them of what?" ZYX Theta laughed bitterly. "That we've already invited the Terrorlings into the Galactic Federation? That we've given them star charts to every civilized world? That we've been teaching them our technology because they seemed so eager to learn?" She pulled up a recent human news broadcast. A weather report showing massive storm systems, volcanic activity, and earthquake warnings delivered by a cheerful human who described it as mild weather for Tuesday. "The worst part," Velnor said slowly, "is that they don't even know they're the monsters from our nightmares. They think their world is normal. They describe it as mostly harmless in their own databases." Kree's translator glitched as he tried to process this. "They rate planets on habitability and they gave scores to worlds we consider paradises as might need light terraforming. They think we live on the harsh worlds." A communication ping interrupted their horror. A human diplomat appeared on screen, smiling warmly. "Greetings, friends. I'm calling to invite you to Earth for the Cultural Exchange Festival. We're so excited to show you our world. We've prepared special protective suits for you, though honestly, the weather's been lovely lately. Only 3 tornadoes this week and the volcanic activity is at a historical low. You'll love it." The transmission ended. The 4 researchers stared at each other. "The Terrorlings have invited us to Terragast," ZYX Theta said faintly. "And they think they're being hospitable." In the ancient texts, the final prophecy suddenly made terrifying sense, and the spawn of the death sphere shall spread across the stars, not as conquerors, but as friends. For they know not what they are. The galaxy's greatest nightmare had come true. And it was apologizing for the weather.